広がる闇の中交し合った革命のちぎり誰にも邪魔させるわけにはいかないから
Follow the teachings of God and receive his blessings, and so it shall be, that the seas will again become bountiful, and the raging storms will subside. That's not even close to the right place, is it? Line 1 in the books! Yes!
Okay, take a break.
We're on the Let's just call it.
I think we've done a pretty good day.
It's day 1. Oh, we'll have to see. It's getting pretty exciting already.
A lot of the tough scenes, I think, are in these first few episodes, so I'm glad to see that they're working out really well. We're hitting the ground running. We're getting some really good stuff.
It's amazing how much stuff happened in this one episode. Particularly character development on Light's part. I mean, he went through a lot in a relatively short script. Any new series that you start, there's a bit of a feeling out process to kind of work your way through what the character is going through, but I don't know, in this series it seems to be happening pretty fast. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this all turns out with the rest of the cast and everything. That's one of the problems when you're one of the first guys in is you don't really get to hear the other North American voice actors anyway. So it's a bit of a surprise once you see the final product and see how everything kind of plays off everything else.
Shinigami, a god of death, huh? Well, I'm not surprised. In fact, Ryuk, I've been waiting for you.
Oh. Excellent read. When we did the auditions, obviously, as directing the auditions, I'm going to have sort of instincts or feelings about who I like for the part. And he just came in and his instincts were right. It was a difficult side. It was a really long side. And it was a complicated side. It was, from these first 4 episodes. And it was some of the really tough scenes.
Well, the audition side for Light was huge. It was chunks and chunks and chunks of dialogue. So it was actually really, I mean, that's pretty rare. A lot of times you'll have, maybe 6 or 7 lines. You can't really piece together how they interlink with other characters and just what situations are going on.
With a lot of the actors, it took a lot of work to get them into the right place to make that emotional arc from finding this death note, having and then realizing what it can do, and the guilt of having killed, and then taking that to the next step and wanting to make a better world out of it. And his instincts were just right. He got it, so that really impressed me.
You could see a huge range of emotions that the character was going through right in the audition, which is really nice. I knew, my first impressions were, I want this role. I want this part. Book me. Book me right now. Don't let me go home. Just book me right now.
One of Brad's real talents is being able to just make it sound natural. Really, he just brings it to life. So that's great. It's really good to have him as the lead. I think it's going to be one of those characters where it's, almost right away, it's his voice will be Light. Already in my head, that's sort of who I hear when I see the character.
When I was a kid, I was going to be an astronaut. That didn't pan out. Still waiting for my jetpack, though. If I was an astronaut, I'd probably have a jetpack by now. I started doing the voice acting when I was in high school, and at the time I was doing on-camera stuff and theater work as well.
I've been directing for about 12, 13 years, I think. Good 12, 13 years. I came out of film school originally, and then I started out engineering. And sort of really by more accident and happenstance, sort of started drifting into directing, taking over here and there, and then I don't remember exactly when, but just became full-time director. Brad Swale, I've worked with for a long time. In fact, he's been doing this longer than I have. I think I don't know how old he was, but he started out as a kid.
My very first voice acting gig, and that was in '92. And it's now 2007. So yeah, I've been doing this for quite a while. A lot of the characters that I play in various series are, young guy kind of thrust into extraordinary circumstances. I don't get cast as villains very often. My very first cartoon was My Little Ponytails, and I was the bad pony. But that's as far as like My Little Ponies go, so I'm not sure really exactly how bad they are. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a bit of a first for me. What should be interesting to see is, I think, the further he gets into the series and the more you might hate him, I guess, probably the more I'm going to enjoy playing him. So it's going to be an interesting little struggle there. It's like, okay, I hate him so much, it's the best time ever.
As a director, you have to have a really good idea of what's needed, what you want to get from the actors. So you have to be really familiar with the show and basically have a read in your head that you want to hear. Now, having said that, you've got to leave some room so that if the actor comes out with something that's maybe a little different and maybe a little better, something that just, wow, I hadn't thought of that. That really works well. You want to be open-minded and be able to recognize that and say, hell yeah, that's perfect, that's great. And oftentimes those are the lines that are sort of above and beyond the call of duty, and those are the ones that people remember, I think.
So, depending on the person you have in mind, you can either kill them easily or painfully, huh? Oh, much faster.
A little quicker.
Yes, a little quicker.
What'll help, I think, play the intrigue a little more, as opposed to, wow, that's kind of cool. It should be more, I don't believe it. A little bit of that.
Get a good rapport with the directors and the engineers and things, and it just makes it a real treat to come into work, because we can bounce ideas off each other, and you don't take any egos into the booth with you. So he can say, oh, that really sucked, and I'll say, yeah, that really sucked, let's do it again, and things like that. And it doesn't faze either of us, so it makes for a very positive working environment and lots of fun for everyone, and I like to think that we do better work that way.
Every actor is a different challenge. What you need to do to get a performance out of one person is different than what you need to get the performance out of somebody else. So it's sort of finding out what that is and how to make that happen.
Death Note? As in a notebook of death? How to use it. The human whose name is written in this notebook shall die.
Just a shade more surprise on the shall die.
Almost there. Can I maybe get that at the end of it too then? Because it's going to sound a little low-key.
Okay. He's done so much of it that the actual mechanics of ADR, fitting the flaps, knowing how to adjust his read, it's second nature, so he's not really thinking about that. And I think that's really that's the secret to it, is getting beyond that part of it, that you're not struggling and you can concentrate on the artistic side of it.
The more experience you have working there, the more comfortable you're going to feel. And I like to think that shows in the performances. It's an amazing looking show. It's got a cool cast of characters, and it's a really interesting idea. And it doesn't surprise me that it's become popular.
It's complex. And not just complex, but the concepts are cleverly portrayed, I find. It's a really interesting show. And I think that's really what sets it apart. It's a really, how would I put it? Just a interesting, complex show to watch. It draws you in. You really, you got to keep watching.
He doesn't really seem too fearful. All these crazy events are happening to him right from the get-go. And instead of him freaking out and panicking and doing all that kind of nonsense, he's more calculating in how he's going to take these events and kind of twist them in his favor. I think there's going to be an obvious struggle between his morality and his sense of right and wrong and what he figures he's accomplishing by using the Death Note. And I think it could be tough down the road to kind of keep that in check. We don't want him to seem like a total monster, right? But at the same time, you know, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think that's how it goes, and I guarantee it's going to happen to our friend Light here. So yeah, I mean, it's something that I think most of us would, you know, like to be able to do, is create a better world. And the big problem there is, well, how do you go about doing it? And if it's all you making the decisions, who's to say that you're right and that you're making the right choices? Some characters in the past have had hints of that, but never this early on in a series either. I mean, it's episode 1 and he's already showing glimpses of what's to come. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, with all that power, it's going to kind of just start to distort your reality, and I'm sure it's going to happen with him, you know, tenfold. It's not necessarily an ideal situation, you know, to be that person with all the power, especially very anonymous power too, right? I mean, you have politicians, high-ranking officials, whatever, they're in the spotlight, so they will have to answer to courses of action that they take. Whereas with Light, it seems right now he can kind of be behind the scenes doing all this type of stuff.
It's a darker show than a lot of other shows I've done, which isn't unique in itself, but I think it's unique in that there's not that simplification of good versus evil. Obviously with Light, his intentions are good, but is he good? It's gray area. You know, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy?
Oh, it's early to say, but yeah, I got faith. I think he means well, right? But you know, you put him in a position of power and it's gonna change him a bit.